Good morning, everyone. My name is Marcel Lorenz. I am a program facilitator with the Regina District Industry Education Council. This is another one of our videos in our online series to present information to high school students or anyone in general that would like to know more about a career or a field of work that they may have heard of and were interested in, or maybe they don't know anything about or didn't know this was a thing. So we like to allow you a chance to learn about something new from someone who does the job. And in this case, I'm really particularly happy to welcome Brinley Nelson, who works in Saskatoon as a customer service technician for SaskTel. And so a young person like yourselves, as opposed to an elderly person like me, a young person talking to young people to give you something of an idea of what it's like to start with a new job and start a new career and find something fulfilling and interesting. And from the conversations I've had with her and the information I've looked at, I've read from her, someone who really, I think, enjoys what she does and is finding it to be an exciting and interesting new field. So Brinley, welcome, and thank you so much for taking the time to do this video and to talk back and forth with me. And I really appreciate your enthusiasm and the fact that you're excited to share what you know. So I will just let you do a little hello and yeah.
I'm very excited to talk about my job here today. It's like my favorite thing ever.
That's fantastic. I love it. It's so nice to see anybody that they're doing a job that they're excited and they love it and they're interested and they're willing to tell people like, this is a great career and this is a great job and something that, anyone can do, that it doesn't matter from your background or where you're from or anything else. And that matter is just, are you willing to learn? Are you willing to take some time and work with people and also work with technical stuff? There's some really neat technical stuff that Brinley's going to talk about that she's learned. So we will jump onto our first slide of a little bit about you.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Brinley Nelson. I'm a customer service technician for SaskTel. I've been working at SaskTel for a year and a half, so around 18 months. And so far it's great. I've had no complaints. I love it.
Fantastic. So you would have started. So we'll jump to the next part, and this should be kind of a good little jump. So you had no special training, and I'm assuming you kind of started, well, it says fresh out of high school. So
Yeah.
maybe talk a little bit about how that got started and how you found out about the job, or how it came to be that you're working at SaskTel.
Yeah, so I was working at a gas station, and I remember in high school, I'm like, I want to be an electrician. Like, that's kind of like the stuff I want to work with. Obviously, I was a little bit scared to get shocked and stuff. I mean, as one does. But my friend's dad, he let me know that there was a job at SaskTel. It was kind of along the lines of electrician, just a low voltage electrician, essentially. And I was really interested. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not because I didn't even know if I was going to like electrical. So I applied and I got an interview. Before I was hired, I went on a little ride along just to check out how everything was, and I ended up really loving it. It was something I never thought of or didn't even know was a thing. And yeah, it turned out great. So I ended up getting hired, and my first day was November 13th in 2023.
Fantastic. Like, that's awesome. It's great to hear that that you had the opportunity to hear about the job and then go do a ride along, which is really neat to kind of see what was going to be involved.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's cool. So when you were in high school and thinking about becoming an electrician, were there any classes that you took in that way, or it was just something you're like, you know what, I think this is interesting? What kind of made you think, or what kind of things in school maybe helped a little bit with thinking about becoming an electrician?
Yeah, so when I was in, I think grade 11, I was in a wood shop and they had like a little bit of an electrical unit. So they set up, my shop's teacher was great. He set up like a whole diagram with like big frames, and like we did all the wiring and hooked up like the light switches and stuff. It was great. It was super fun. And so that kind of like sparked my attention right away because I was like, oh, this is so much fun. Like making something work and like doing something and just like, you don't know if it's going to work or if it's not going to work. And then once it does, it's like the best feeling ever. So that kind of got my attention pretty well to get interested
Awesome.
in it.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Well, that's good to hear. We have a similar school here in Regina that I taught the electrical and electronics program that I was telling Brinley about before we started, that I taught students those things, and we had a partnership with SaskTel. So we were lucky enough to have some students got to see a bit of what she does. SaskTel comes into the what's called Campus Regina Public, and the students do some of the things that she does about wiring up phone lines and fiber optics, and just learning what SaskTel does. So that's really cool, and I'm glad to hear that students are still getting experience out in high schools, that they're being a former high school teacher. It's nice to hear that there's still lots of experiences where students are like, oh, I can try this. And then it's that whole thing of like, I did something, I made this, it works.
Yes. Yeah. It's
a lot
great
of times,
feeling.
yeah, there's a lot of things, unfortunately, where you do something and you're like, man, I hope this is okay. But when you make something with your hands and it works, it's exciting.
Yeah. It's a whole other feeling.
Awesome. I love it. So your job duties, sort of a kind of a day-to-day thing. Tell us a little bit about kind of what your day looks like.
Yeah, so usually I go out and about during the day. I install internet and Max TV. So obviously, if you guys don't know, internet's Wi-Fi. Max TV is cable. So it's like any type of cable channels you have. We have traditional Max TV, which is just like a basic cable package that we have, and then we have Max TV Stream as well, which is more kind of like a streaming platform, kind of like Netflix, Prime Video, stuff like that. I install home phones, so like landlines. Your grandparents probably have them, or something like that. That's usually like the only people that have landlines nowadays, which is kind of fun. But we work with copper lines or fiber optics. It kind of depends on what building you live in. So usually our copper lines are in apartment buildings, old folks homes, sometimes residential areas if you just have a landline, it depends. Or fiber optics. So we use fiber optic mainly for everything. Saskatoon, I think, I could be wrong with my numbers here, but I think it's about 75% done with fiber optics. Fiber optic is in mainly residential homes, so like probably like your home has it and you probably don't even know it. They are trying to get the entire city, I think all of Saskatchewan actually, to be fiber. So copper lines are slowly kind of making their way out, but they're still really fun to work with. And those are the lines that you kind of like make you want to pull your hair out sometimes. But I mean, it's fun because once you get it working, like I said before, like it's just once you get those modems up and running and the Max TV, everything, it's just a whole nother feeling, and you just get so happy, and like you can see the customers like, finally I have something. So it's always fun to see kind of like how it's going to go throughout the day, but you never know. Sometimes it varies, but it's always fun to find out. We repair lots of things as well. So like if you're having problems with your internet, Max TV, anything like that, we come in and repair it. So we get timelines for that stuff, but usually goes pretty quickly, and you can usually get a lot of stuff done within the time as long as you're kind of just focusing on it. And yeah, that's pretty much about what I do in a day to day. You just work in a lot of places all the time. I think I go mainly, if I'm doing a repair day, it's about probably 6 to 7 jobs. But if you're really busy that day and you can get through stuff quickly, you're going into about 9 people's houses sometimes. So
Wow.
It definitely varies on the amount of people you see in the day.
No kidding. I'm going to stop the formal part for 1 second, because I'm going to be the paranoid guy and make sure that it's recording. Because like I said, it's rather funny. So I'll stop sharing for 1 second. Yep, working perfect. That's good.
Good.
Because sorry, I'm like, I'd rather have that happen than suddenly be like, oh yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like I said, it's like, okay, so perfect. So we will jump to. So there we go. So that's a cool picture of you, I'm assuming, up on a ladder. So
Yep.
What kind of equipment do you work with? Where would you work? Does SaskTel, like, do they give you equipment? Do you have to buy your own stuff? So what would you tell people kind of about that?
Okay, so usually SaskTel supplies you all your tools that you need. So I work with ladders. I work with drills, hand tools like screwdrivers, side cutters. And we also have some meters that we use to get our jobs done efficiently. So we have a fiber optic meter, kind of like to tell us what the light level is on the fiber, just to make sure that it's actually working the way it should be. Or using like a light to shine through to see if there's any breaks in the line. So that's what we use for the fiber optic meters. We also have copper meters, which shoot the line so you can tell you if the end of the line is either open or short. And it can also tell you if you're actually getting service. So you can actually hook up your fiber or your copper meter, sorry, and it can let you know if you have service like at our outdoor cabinet. So if you're having troubles getting services to the home and you're just wondering where at what point is it not working, that's where we use our copper meter, sorry,
That's okay.
to get everything working and just to kind of see like troubleshoot the lines just to see kind of where the problem could be. We also have Cat 5 meters, and those are actually a big tool in our day-to-day job. I use that at almost every single job. And that is pretty much just to make sure that our lines are full duplex, which just means that like all of our lines are punched down to make sure that we get good service. So if you have, say, like a Max TV box, a PVR, those all need to be wired in. So you need to make sure that that line is going to be working perfectly, or else you could have some problems. So we use those day to day just to make sure, like with troubleshooting, to see if maybe if your box is glitching or something like that and you just don't know why, it could be the line. So we use those every single day at almost every single job just to make sure that everything's doing good. That's pretty much about the equipment that we use. With our work areas, we work in lots of places. So I'm a residential tech. I'm not a business tech. So I am personally working in apartment buildings, old folks' homes, sometimes group homes. You work in back alleys, you work in residential homes, so just like a normal house. And we work pretty much everywhere. So you kind of got to know the city a little bit to just kind of like know where you're going and stuff like that. But I mean, it's always fun. Once you kind of like start the job, I remember when I first started, I was like, oh, where's this street? But now like I can pretty much drive there on my own and kind of get the job done. So it's kind of fun to kind of see where everything is and meet new people. It's awesome.
It's great. I see. So in this case, in the picture I'm looking at, which is really cool, of
Yeah,
you up on a ladder. So that's a back alley. And I know
yeah,
that Regina and Saskatoon have similar infrastructure where you've got some of the older subdivisions where people live have a lot of their stuff running through their back alley. So in
yes,
this case, so you actually have to go up in the air sometimes to
yeah.
work on, not everything comes underground to people's homes.
No, we do aerial work. I think it's pretty fun because you're strapped to this line that you don't know if it's windy, you don't know if you're gonna fling back and forth, but usually if it's too windy, you don't do it because of your safety, obviously. But yeah, so right there, I was actually running a fiber drop. So one of the lines, I can't remember it exactly because it was a couple months ago, but I believe that we are running a new drop into the place. A drop is just like a fiber line that we use. It's an outdoor line. And we were running it to the house. So we needed to put a new one up. And I actually had to go from that other ladder and I had to go up and down both of them to make sure that the line was going all the way across. And it was pretty tricky because you had to have the line in your hand while you're climbing the ladder. But thankfully we have really good safety gear. So you don't really feel too scared up there because you're strapped to the line up there. It's called the messenger, and we're completely strapped to it. So if the ladder were to move or accidentally fall down, we would at least have a little bit more of a secure. We wouldn't fall and hurt ourselves essentially. It might hurt a little bit, but you're not hurting yourself or breaking like any legs or anything like that. So you're usually pretty safe with all the equipment that they give us.
Some I know, having worked with some SaskTel people on some other things to this, I know those outdoor lines like that are particularly annoying because of squirrels that chew through the line.
Yes. I have heard a couple of stories where squirrels have destroyed a line and all of a sudden their services drop out and they're like, why? And it was just because squirrels were a little curious.
Yeah. And there's things called cabinets that I don't have but I've got a picture. I think we've got some pictures of the inside of it, but maybe what's a cabinet look like? And people see them all the time and they just don't know
Yeah.
what it is.
So you're probably going to see them everywhere. They're all over the place. Like they're in Saskatoon, Warman, Martinsville, everywhere. Probably in Regina too. I'm almost 100% there.
They are. Yeah.
But they're little green boxes. So if you ever go out and about in like back alleys, parks, or anything like that, and you see like these green cabinets there, and it says SaskTel on it or anything like that, those are actually our distribution cabinets. So we have a big CO, so just central office. So we have a bunch of lines come in and then they distribute lines out to these little cabinets. And so these cabinets are where all these lines are held. And then you have to, each line goes to one house. So you have to be able to figure out which line is which. So sometimes there's up to like 2,000 lines in there, probably even more than that, if I'm going to be completely honest, probably like tens of thousands of lines in there. And you have to figure out which line goes to your house to get your services. So they're pretty fun the first time I saw one, I was like, oh my goodness, like, what am I looking at right now? But once you kind of get to know how to work with them and make sure that you're not going to mess anybody up or take anybody out of service, you kind of get pretty confident after a while and you know what you're doing. So it can be pretty intimidating at first, but over time, it's pretty fun to work with.
So, like I said, the first time I ever looked in one too you're just like it's spaghetti line of wires everywhere, and they're all different
Yes.
colors, and the technicians that I worked with are like they were just able to be like, oh, this goes to this house and this goes to this house, and they literally had everything down.
Yeah.
And it's like you can figure out which one goes into everybody's house.
Yeah.
Just by how they're.
Yeah, you have an assignment that you have and it gives you all the numbers and stuff, and then you can go and like count what numbers yours. So it's pretty easy. Like they have everything labeled for you, so at least you can kind of figure out that way. But if you pull one wrong jumper off, you're pulling somebody out of service potentially. So it's pretty scary, but it's fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's neat. Great. We will. What are some things that people may not know about SaskTel or working for SaskTel, or some kind of neat little perks that that you find in your work?
Yeah, there's actually a lot. So most people think of SaskTel as like just Max TV. They don't really think of anybody. Sorry, I personally, hold on, we might have to edit that out, but
that's okay, no problem.
But usually with SaskTel, people think that it's just like customer service technicians coming in, installing your Wi-Fi and stuff like that. That's actually not the case. We actually have a lot of positions at SaskTel, and it helps with a lot of things. So like we have guys out on bucket trucks fixing lines for us, and we don't even get access to that as in our position unless you have like obviously a certificate for that stuff. But there's lots. There's dispatch, so dispatch dispatches out our jobs for us. We also have like lots of facility techs. So we have traveling crews that go out to the rural areas, like farms and stuff like that. We have a lot of positions at SaskTel that people may not know about. So it's kind of a nice place to work at because like if you do work within SaskTel, all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, there's like thousands of positions that I didn't even know were a thing. So there is lots of jobs. There's not just my job. There is lots more that you can get yourself into. Office jobs out on the field. There's so many. We work in a lot of different things. Oh, that's pretty much everything.
Okay, no, that's good. Awesome, great. We will, no problem. Like I said, we can edit out anything but lots of times too, it's good for people just to be like, hey, look, it's so challenges and rewards. So I kind of split it into two sides. So let's talk about some of the challenges of kind of the things about work where you're like, this is not my favorite part, and sometimes I got to think about it. And then the part where it's like, this is really cool. This is something that's a real reward that I think is awesome.
Yeah, so some of the challenges definitely for my job are learning something. Oh, hold on. Wait, let me read that again.
Oh, learning new.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
my god. Oh, that's me. That's my grammar error. I
No,
changed it
that's
this morning.
okay.
Looks
That's
terrible. I'll
okay.
fix that.
Okay, we'll restart that. Okay, so lots of the things that we do like that can be challenging. You do work in lots of people's homes. So sometimes you walk into places that you're just not really expecting. And some customers can be upset with you. Some people can be super nice. So it can be kind of challenging. So you kind of need to have your customer service smile on to make sure that they're like, okay, everything will be okay. Because like it can be frustrating sometimes when you walk into a place and somebody's kind of right mad at you and you don't even know why because like you just walked into their home. So that is definitely a challenge of the job. Also knowing about like TV brands, technology. Lots of people have third party devices like your iPhone, computer, it could be another router that you have that you're connected to. So knowing the brands of certain things and how they work is definitely a challenge. It definitely wasn't something I was ready for when I first started. All of a sudden, like a Samsung TV had issues that I didn't even know with our Max TV equipment, right? So there's just like certain things that you had to learn on the job that they never talk to you about. And so that was definitely challenging going like starting out was like just trying to learn new things, but that's also a fun thing is learning new things every single day. Like you do something new every day. Like it doesn't matter if you're doing the same thing, you're learning something new, whether it's a customer telling you a funny little joke or them telling you like a little fact or something, but you always are seeing something new or somebody different for sure. um Rewards of this position are definitely experienced people helping us. So we have senior techs that have been working here for years. And when you first start out, they are very, very helpful with making sure that you understand everything. And if you have any questions or anything like that, they're always with open arms able to answer our questions for us. So it's super nice to have people like that in your workplace because even if you're just like working in an office job, like you might not know how to send an email a certain type of way, right? So it's always nice to have somebody that's had that experience before. So that's super nice. And also being in a new place every single day. It's super fun seeing new cool houses every day. Like sometimes I see like super fun houses that I've like never even thought of. And like you look at the outside and you're like, I wonder what the inside looks like. So that's kind of fun. I really like that about my job. And I also love meeting new people. So being a people person is definitely a good thing for this job because you meet people every day and I love it. We also have great managers. Like my manager personally, I love her. She's amazing. If you have a bad day, you can call her and just get some advice. If you're struggling on a job and you're just not sure what to do, she's always there to help you. And if a customer is being annoying and you just don't know how to handle them, you can just call her and just ask her some advice to kind of de-escalate the situation. So it's super nice to have great managers because it makes things a lot easier. Because sometimes people are like, let me speak to your manager. And you're like, okay,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
here she is.
When I
So it definitely
imagine,
helps.
yeah, I was going to say, imagine it's tough because sometimes you walk into someone's house and if you ask, well, like what exactly is wrong, and they're just like, the internet doesn't work, and
Yeah,
they don't know why. They're just like, it's not working. I don't know. Just fix it.
yeah,
So they're, like you said, they're irritated because
yeah,
they want it and they want it now, and it's like, and
yeah,
for you, it's like, okay, well, we have to find out what the problem is. It could be one of probably 20 different things, I'm guessing, or 100 different things
exactly.
that you're like, I have to find the thing or the
Yeah.
things that are interfering. So you must be really good at troubleshooting and finding problems, and you also must get better at it as you go along, because I
Oh,
imagine,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
start running into
always
things you're, yeah.
You're always running into something new. Like the other day, I was running into something. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. But it's super nice again to have those senior techs to be able to call you and just like give them a call and just be like, hey, this is what's happening. I've never seen this before. And they can usually just give you a bunch of advice and try to help you like go out on your own and figure it out because when somebody comes and helps you, you're not really learning because usually they take
Yeah.
over. So having the people to just call and just kind of like talk you through it and just be like, hey, I know you know what this means. So just try it this way. But they're super nice. They're super patient with us, especially like all the new hires around. Like they're very patient. So it's very handy to have people like that at your workplace.
Awesome. um, salary and benefits. This is one thing I know that lots of times, especially some people are like, well, what's like you don't have like we don't you don't have to mention what salary is, but I see it says competitive wages, and I do know
Yeah,
that SaskTel does like definitely start at a good wage, and it
yeah,
increases as you go on, and it's what we like to call a livable wage. So it's not minimum wage. Sometimes people are
yeah,
like, so, but also there's other things besides just getting paid. How much do I
yeah.
get every day? So here's some things. What kind of stuff could you tell us about SaskTel's the benefits and things like that as well?
Our benefits are really great. So we have dental, life insurance, and health insurance, sorry.
Yeah.
We
No, no.
have
Yeah.
lots of great benefits throughout. So that's all I can really talk about with
Yeah.
that.
No, that's okay. No, no, no.
Our
That's okay
pension,
there. Yeah.
our pension's really good. So I don't know who our pension is with. I probably should have figured that out, but we have a
That's okay.
good pension.
Yeah.
We got paid holidays. So if you guys have like it depends on like your position for sure. So like if you're part-time or full-time, it definitely depends on like what holidays you get. So sometimes you get paid holidays and sometimes you don't. So like stat holidays and stuff like that, you usually get paid for those. Um and like our wages are competitive. So like it kind of varies on the position you're in and how long you've been working here. So yeah, our union's really good with our job security. Like we have no issues. I've never had an issue with them. They treat us really good. So that's also pretty awesome as well.
That's good. And I always talk to students over the years, and it's kind of funny. They're like, "Oh, it's just old people talking," but um, uh, benefits like healthcare, not and dental. It's like you go get you need a filling. What does it cost me? Nothing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need to go for teeth cleaning. Nothing. I have a prescription. If you got any medical kind of things, or you go to the doctor and you're like, "Oh, I've got a chest infection, or I need some
Yeah.
antibiotics." You just go to the pharmacy, and they're like, "It's all covered." You don't
Yeah.
necessarily pay anything, or if you do, it's a
No.
small little amount.
Yeah.
And the pension part is really, I talk to students and I tell them over the years, you don't think about it, but when it comes time to retirement, you're not like, oh no, where am I going to get my money from? And it's like, oh, wait a minute,
Exactly.
I've paid into it. My employer's paid into it for all of these years. And when I
Yeah.
retire, you get a paycheck every month that is money that both you and your employer put in, and you're like, oh great, I don't have
Exactly.
to worry so much about things like that. Like I said, that doesn't sound like a big deal at the start of your career. When you're my age, you're like, yay. It's like
Yeah.
you're not
Well,
like, oh my
especially
goodness.
yeah, I started at 18. So my pension, if I stay with SaskTel, which I don't plan on leaving because I love my job,
Yeah,
my pension will be pretty good. So like it's super
it'll
nice to
be
like have
amazing.
that
Yeah.
security. So like knowing that when I'm older and can't move or something,
Well, no,
at
but
least
you're ready. Well,
when I
the
want to
nice
retire and go
yeah,
move to a lake and have a nice
yeah,
lakefront house, I'll know that
yeah.
I'll be okay.
Exactly, or travel, or do when you're
Yes.
ready to retire, you're like, you know what, maybe I want to travel, or maybe
Yeah.
I want to be able to go out and spend time at a cabin, or do what I
Yeah.
want to do when I feel like it, and you don't have to worry that you're like, oh no, how will I pay for these things? It's like, oh wait a minute, I get a paycheck every month as in my pension,
Exactly.
and so those are all great things, and that
Exactly.
some employers don't offer, and SaskTel does, which
No.
is great to hear.
Yeah,
Um,
it's very nice.
Job opportunities. So I kind of brought this one up a little bit, especially with SaskTel, because you talked a bit about it too. Is that it's not just you have your one job and you're like, well, what if I want to do something else? Do I have to
Yeah.
quit and move somewhere else? But it looks like you don't have to. You could do a lot of things with
No,
SaskTel.
yeah, so like if me personally, like say if I wanted to go work in sales, we hire like SaskTel hires usually within SaskTel. So like they hire outside. And then once you're in SaskTel, it's actually super easy to get a job. Not super easy, I'm not gonna say super
Yeah,
easy,
yeah,
but it's a
no,
little bit easier just because you're hiring within. So like if I wanted to apply for a sales position, a dispatch position, or even like a cables facilities tech, um, I would have a little bit more of a better chance than say somebody out on the outside of SaskTel. So that's definitely super nice to know as well, because like when I was hired, I'm like, oh, like what if I don't like this position, but I still want to work with the company? They made sure that we knew, like, just so you know, like we do hire within. So like if you do want to try another position, we always have the capability of just applying for that position and seeing if you can get it. So super nice. It makes things a lot easier for you. So like say like if you get hurt, if I break my ankle and I can't ever actually go back out and work in a field, like I have the opportunity to go work in an office. And so that's super nice.
Fantastic. Yeah, that sounds like a great. It's nice to have a big employer like that. If something changes in your life,
Yeah.
that you're like, you know what, I can't do this, or um, so later on in your life, if you're like, hey, I got married and I'm pregnant, you're like, I don't think I want to be going up the ladder so much anymore. That
No.
it's
Yeah,
like
that's
kind
what
of
I was
partway
actually
along,
talking to my
or you've
boyfriend
got a little,
about.
yeah. You're like,
Yeah,
maybe we need a change when I have children. That I might want to do something different or have whatever. And so that's nice that that they do offer you that thing to be like, well, no, you don't have to just quit. You can. There's other things in that you've been with the corporation, and they offer you the chance to be like, well, if you want to do something different, let's figure something out. So that's
exactly.
awesome.
No. It's
Um,
definitely handy because if I do end up getting pregnant later on in the
yeah,
future, very later in the future,
yeah,
um, way like 5 years,
yeah, yeah.
it would be nice because I would still have like that. Okay, if I can't do the job, I can at least go and try to find a different position in the meantime
Yeah.
while I can't do that. So it's super nice to have that flexibility at this company for sure.
Oh, it's amazing. So you put down, these are some of your favorite aspects of the job, things that you really, I guess, stick out to you that are kind of like, I really like this part.
Yeah, my like I said, I just love my job. I meet a new person every day. And sometimes I vibe with them so good, and then next time the customer is just like doesn't really want to talk. So it definitely depends on what kind of person you are. Sometimes like I personally can bring people out of their misery, I like to say. So like when I go into repair and somebody's like my Max TV hasn't been working for every like all day, like I like to kind of make them happy. So that's like my favorite part is just like walking out and knowing somebody's like happy and smiling when I leave. That's like my favorite thing ever. I also love working with my hands. So being able to like go out and like pick up a ladder, go put it on a pole or messenger like a messenger line, like it's so fun to like have that capability and being able to like kind of like I said before, just like making something work with like nothing and then all of a sudden it's giving somebody everything, right? So people work from home with their internet. So, like, I mean, you're making somebody's life easy. So it's super nice to kind of see people happy about it. I just love seeing like the outcome of like what I do. So it's super rewarding to see that. I also get my own van. So I have it. I don't have a name for it yet. Everybody's been asking what my name or my van's name is. I don't have one,
I like the
but it
fact
is
that you
my
call it your
office.
office. Yeah, I like the fact that
Yes.
you talked about in some of the stuff we've got there. You're like, I call it my office, and I'm like, that's great.
Yeah, so it's super fun. So that's what I work out of every day, all day. So I'm in it sometimes 8 hours a day. Well, not 8 hours because I'm in people's houses,
Yeah.
but like you work out of it 8 hours a day. So you're not working out of like a warehouse or anything like that. We do have a warehouse to restock our vans, obviously, but that is what I'm in all day. So it's super fun to have like your own space that you can call it yours. Like I have a nice little pink air freshener. So, so that's fun. And you also get to be outside like all day. So it kind of depends on the weather. So that can make you happy or mad. But usually in the summertime, it's just great. I love it. You get to sit outside sometimes and especially working with the copper lines, like you're outside most of the time. So super fun just being able to be outside. And in the winter, it kind of sucks, but I still like it. When your hands get cold, that's when I start to be like, oh, but like, I mean, usually they give you mitts and proper like gear. So like they give us overalls and stuff and jackets. And so you usually are pretty warm. So you don't have to stress about being cold because they do also give you stuff to keep yourself warm. Um, like I said before, you get to learn something new every day, whether it's a new joke from a customer or actually something that will help with my job. So it's super fun. I love it. And I wouldn't change it for the world.
I see that, and in talking with you and during the interview and everything, I'm seeing it's obviously this is something that you really really enjoy doing, and
Yeah.
it gives you lots of well, this part, the work life balance. So sometimes people are um, they're kind of worried about, they're like, oh, is this job going to be all consuming, and is it going to take everything away from me, or am I going to be able to have some, free time, or am I going to have to worry all the time about work? And here's some things you put down that are kind of cool about, having a good, nice balance between enjoying your job and your own life outside of work.
Yeah. So we definitely have different like shift work options. So I personally work like 8 to 4. But that is like another arrangement. But usually the main shift you work is 1 to 8 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. Sorry. It kind of depends on the week, so it shifts every now and then. So usually you work like 2 weeks of night or evening shifts, and then usually like 2 weeks of day shifts. So it kind of depends on like what rotation you are within that. And you also work weekends. You don't work every weekend, so it's not a big stress. And so you usually only work every other weekend. If you work every weekend, like that's probably arrangement that was done before with you beforehand, but you always get at least one weekend off every other weekend. So super nice. And I actually don't mind working Saturdays at all because usually my boyfriend's sleeping in, so I get to wake up and go to work anyway. So it's not bad. I don't mind working weekends at all. It's actually kind of fun because you meet people and have fun, and then you can like go out sometimes and like see them in a grocery store and you're like, I just did your stuff. And so it's fun. I don't mind it at all, and it's good. But some periods of the year it is busier, so we have a blackout period, which is kind of like it's harder to take holidays off. So it's usually, I think I could be wrong, August to October, something like that. So that's our busiest time, and it's mainly just because like students are coming back for school and university, and so we usually hook up like the university students Wi-Fi. And so that's usually the busiest time because there's so many students coming back and from home. So we are pretty busy that time of year. But I mean, overtime, you always get paid for overtime, so we get paid double time. So it's still worth it. So it's not too bad when you're working overtime for an entire day. You're not complaining at all.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And I recognize about blackout times because all the years I taught, it's a lot of my friends were like, "Oh, I got a really we got a really good deal. We're flying somewhere in March because we got a screaming good flight and a good."
Yeah.
I'm like, it doesn't work that way for me. I'm like, I know my holidays, and
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's just part of the thing, but it's okay. There's benefits to both.
Exactly. And they usually like they have like a vacation wheel system where you can usually pick like the weeks you want off anyways. So like there's certain times that you can actually just take off in advance. So if you have an appointment, you can always just let your manager know that you have an appointment at that certain time, and they give no slack about it. They're like, yep, no, you can have that time off. That's no problem. So
Awesome.
it's very easy to take time off for appointments. Very, very easy.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's always a good thing too.
Yes.
It's like I have a doctor's appointment, and
Yeah.
it's not a case of like, well, I can go tonight. It's like, well, no, they're not open, or a dental appointment, or any of those kind of things where you're like, I just have to be there at this time.
Yeah, I booked a dentist appointment like a couple weeks ago, and I was able to take it off very easily. My manager was very nice about it, so it was very good.
Yeah, that's awesome. So one of the things in this is I kind of, now that we're kind of near pretty much the end of it, I put in a little thing about women in underrepresented roles, and part of what we were hoping for with this interview, especially, and lots of ones that we do, is to let young people know, and in this case in particular, young women know that there are lots of jobs out there that there's absolutely no barrier to doing them because you're a woman, or because of background, or where you come from, or any of those kind of things. So some of the neat things I kind of know about SaskTel is they're committed towards diversity in the workplace. So you definitely see a number of different people.
Yes.
It can be open for anyone that wants to work with the public in a technical area. So in your case, it's obvious when I talk to you and we do this interview that you love working with people, and you love talking with people and meeting new people. And there's also there's the cool technical part, because some people are like, I really, really will like talking to people and problem solving through these kind of things. But you also have the really cool technical part where you're like, I have to fix this. I have to use my hands, and yeah.
Yeah. No, it definitely can be intimidating being a girl coming into this kind of stuff, because like you kind of like hear about like how women are in the trades, and like it can be a little intimidating at first because you don't know how you're going to be treated, especially being super young. So I was 18 when I was hired. So being a super young woman of getting hired at SaskTel, it was very intimidating. I was like, I don't know how people are going to treat me. I don't know if I'm going to be accepted. So it was definitely stressful, but they were great. I had no issues with anybody. They treated me exactly how they treated everybody else, which is great. And like it was amazing. So like if you're a young girl and you want to come work for SaskTel, I would highly recommend it because I've had no issues and I really hope to have more girls with me. Like that'd be so fun. We could start a little girl power club. um, but no, it would be super awesome
Fantastic.
to have
Yeah.
more women in the work field at SaskTel, especially in my position. I think we have 4 women, maybe 5 women in my position right now. And I'd love to see more because it's so fun to talk to the girls about things because of the way that they see the way that customers treat them is definitely different. Like I would say my coworkers are great, but definitely some customers can be a little bit challenging sometimes. But you get that with everything, I think. So personally, I've never really had too many issues with customers. Everyone's usually treated me very well. So it was intimidating, but now I know how to handle myself and the situations when they do occur. So it's usually really well.
That's awesome. And the other thing I put in the end here is that SaskTel is a crown corporation, which means that, like Sask Power and Sask Energy, it exists to benefit the people of Saskatchewan. That's kind of a neat thing that
Yes.
you would get messaging from. And I know that a lot of the work that we do with what are called the crown corporations is they exist. It's like we're here not to make money for somebody else somewhere else. It's like we exist to help the people of Saskatchewan and provide them with
Yeah.
services and do it at a reasonable rate that is good for everybody. So that must be kind of a neat thing too, that people, that you hear about from them, and that as a young person, you're kind of like, this
Yes.
is good for everybody.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like sometimes customers be like, "Oh, do you know how old SaskTel is?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yes, 115 years old." I just figured that out
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
So actually,
Yeah.
I still am learning new things
Yeah. See, that's awesome.
every
I
day.
love it. Yeah.
But no, it's honestly a great crown corporation. Like, we are literally out to help people. So it's so fun. It's not like a doctor or anything like that, but I mean, it definitely is fun because giving people entertainment and
Yeah.
being able to make sure people can work from home and stuff like that. So it's definitely an important job to have for sure.
It's very important. Um, this has been a great interview. I've loved talking with you, and I've loved hearing all this. And I love the excitement and the enthusiasm and the fact that you're just, like I said, just so much like this is really what you like doing, and it's really been a
Yes.
positive thing for you. So
Yeah.
that is amazing. So we will kind of wrap this interview up, and I want to say thank you so much, Brinley. This is as always, the little bits that I've talked with you, it's always enjoying to talk to you and to communicate with you. And I'm sure that there's going to be a number of young people that are going to be excited to look at this and spark some interest, that they're like, I didn't even ever think about this. Or especially some young women, like you said, so you can get your girl power club up and running, so that you can have
Yes.
some more colleagues where you're like, I hear what you're saying because we're on the same page.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm super
fantastic.
excited. It was great talking with you. I had a
Yeah,
great time. This was awesome. It
yeah.
was great talking, meeting everyone, and I
I
hope you
know.
guys join SaskTel.
Yeah, yeah. Fantastic. I love it. Thank you so much. Okay, perfect. There we go. So let it go for a couple seconds, and I will stop the recording right away.
Okay.
But I just want to say, thank you so much, Brinley. Like that was, I'll just find the stop sharing part, and that's good. That was really good. I hope you enjoyed that. That
Yeah,
was
that was
great.
fun.
Yeah, that was awesome. I'm going to make sure everything downloaded, um, and get all this stuff kind of up and edited. I don't think I'll have to do much editing and everything else, and I will let you know when it's posted. Um,
Hey,
Thank you. I love. You know what?
thank you.
I'm gonna reach out to you once everything's done, and I kind of want to
Okay,
hear what you think. And yeah, that was great. Okay, thanks. You take care. You have a
thank you
great day.
so
Okay.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks. Bye
you too.
bye.
I'll talk to you
Okay.
later.
Bye.
Bye.